Okay, this last video I'm going to do today is on the limit lab that we practice in class. Now, you don't have this in your packet, and that's okay. I just wanted to get used to some of the limit notation. So I'm going to practice some of these with you. Before we get started, though, I'm going to pick this one page to talk about limit notation. So if you want to copy this on the back of your packet, that's fine. First of all, the arrow that we see is the word for the word approaches, okay? Now this is the limit notation, what I have here in black. We use LIM for limit as X approaches something. I consider X to be the driver, and you can approach infinity, negative infinity, or you can approach a number. So anything can kind of go in here. This is your function, and it equals your limit, which is basically your y's. It's like, what are your y's doing? What are your tails doing? So I wanted you to know that that's our limit notation. So I wanted to show you a couple things, and we've talked about this with the tails of polynomial functions and rational functions. So we're going to just practice sketching a couple graphs and writing it in both notations. So here's the first one. This first one says, I have f of x is approaching 5 as x is approaching negative infinity. Well, we really could write it like this. The limit as x approaches negative infinity of this function x equals 5. That means the exact same thing as what we just did here. So you guys are used to this notation. Now this is your limit notation. And basically we could sketch this graph, and because this we don't know what the actual function is, as long as I know that it's going to approach 5, so this is, I'm going to say, is y equals 5. This is my x and y axis, if you will. And I can sketch a function that as I go to negative infinity, which is on my x-axis, so I'm going to the left, I can sketch a graph, any graph I want, as long as I know that as we go to the left, it's approaching 5. So that just shows you that you can describe a function, write it both ways, and do that. Okay? Let's see if we can pick another one. Let's look at number 6 here. And I have this all worked out online that if you want to do these and practice them to see if you can sketch graphs and understand. This first one I'm just going to kind of rewrite is the limit as x approaches negative infinity of this function is 0. So basically this is saying when I go to the left on my graph, my function is approaching 0. All right? And then it says the limit as x approaches infinity. So when I go to the right of this same function, I'm approaching positive infinity. So let's kind of sketch something that does that. Now there's more than one way to do this. So here's my x and y axis. And so here is negative infinity. So I told you your x's are your driver. Here's your positive infinity. This graph is approaching 0 when I go to the left, and to the right it's approaching positive infinity. So you could do something as simple as this, saying as I go to the left, I'm approaching the x-axis, which is 0. My y's are 0. And as I go to the right, I'm approaching positive infinity, which is this way, because this is my y-axis. Now I'm going to do one where they actually give you a function. So we'll just do number 7. There's quite a few of these to practice, if you will. So I've got this one as x approaches infinity of this function. So they already told us the function, which we know is an exponential function, is what? So let's just kind of sketch what this looks like. We've done many exponential functions. So I know this exponential function has an initial value of 27, and it's decreasing, and it can look like this. So here's my y-axis, my x-axis. So there's just a very easy sketch of what that is. And it's saying, as I approach positive infinity, what is my limit? Or basically, what's your graph doing? Well, it's approaching the x-axis, or where my y's are 0. And it's as simple as that. My limit is 0. Now remember, a lot of these are approaching infinity and negative infinity. We will practice later where they actually approach a number. But again, all this work is in your class if you want to check it, but I just wanted to show you some of the ones we practiced during class time. So that's it for this video.